I'm live. I think. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Get started. I just got the notification that I'm live on my phone, so it should be good. How's it going, everybody? Whoops. Oh, that's not what I wanted. 1920 by 1080. So I need to do something like this. I'm gonna do another one of these title cards for PNN. Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys can't hear me. Awesome. A lot of people in chat. Right on. Go ahead and drop a like on the stream where people can find it. The like button is the most powerful button on YouTube. It's the only one that matters. How was everybody's week so far? Let's see, what color background should I do here? Try gray. Space news. I'm gonna do a space news section for the next episode of Polandball News. The Dragonfly mission was officially selected by NASA. It's being funded. It's super cool. It's gonna send a helicopter drone to Titan, largest moon of Saturn. Super cool. It's the only known moon with an atmosphere. And the only other body in the known universe that we know for sure has stable bodies of liquid on the surface. Do a shameless plug on Discord? Oh yeah, totally forgot. Good catch. Where is it? There's so many channels in the Discord. Here it is. Let me annoy everyone with a ping on Discord. There we go. Lana, you did your banner. Want to see it? Yeah. Put it in Discord and at me or something. Ping me and then I can show it on stream. Jack, no school today because holiday. Nice. All right. So I want to do a space news card, and my idea is I'm gonna have, you know, like those rides that they have outside of some supermarkets. Maybe that's like an American and Canadian thing. I don't know if they do it in supermarkets elsewhere in the world, but sometimes they're like these tiny little rides they're meant for children, like 4 or 5 year old children, maybe even younger, where you put in a quarter or whatever, and the kid like rides the horse or something. It just rocks back and forth. And they have like different versions. There's like cars and horses, and I think one of them you can do like a rocket ship. So I want to put Poland in one of those. That'll be the space news one, since Poland can into space. So we'll do something like that. Let's take happenings. What's like a very space color, like other than black? I don't think I should do a black background. Just because I think, well, I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Let's do black background. And then maybe instead of, maybe we do like a star field in the background. And then, what color should these two boxes be behind the text? Green and purple. Dark blue. Well, whatever it is, it has to contrast pretty well with black. So it would have to be a light color. Like, the pink kind of works here, I think. Space has a lot of colors. Space has all of the colors, even the ones we can't see. Hot pink. Here, let's try... Let's just clean this up first. I don't think I can do dark colors. It just won't look good. It's like Pop-Tart colors. We do like NASA colors, like red. Well, NASA's blue too, so this would be... I don't know, this doesn't look too bad, and we can put stars in the background. Try Futura font. Whoops. Should be way bigger. Should be like news from space or something. Musings of space. Let's try 125. Let's do 3 colors. I'll do another box. Let's start with... Here, let's make it green or something just for now. Maybe we do like a white box in between blue and red. Let's try this. 3 pixel. Clean this up a bit. Okay. Personia Country Ball, hello. Cosmic Herald. It's a good name for a newspaper exclusively about space, the Cosmic Herald. Spy, review your alt or your art. Where is it? Can you post it in the streaming hub and then ping me with it, and then I can show it on stream? I'm more than happy to share anybody's artwork on stream. So I think this should be like a... Maybe it should just be white. No, because I want to do white white text. So here, let's try purple, maybe. What's the thing that I recommended on Netflix? Oh, 3 Body Problem. But if you want to read the book, I would suggest reading the book first. But I mean, the show is good too. I am going to grab a coffee real quick. Oh, you know what? No. I had an orange juice that I put in the fridge and I totally forgot about it. Yeah, The 3 Body Problem by Shixin Liu. Make the text black in the white box and white in the other boxes. It doesn't look consistent though. I mean, that's normally what you would do, but it would look consistent. I like this kind of grayish blue. This is something I can do. Space. Maybe something like this. Can probably make this bigger. Let's try 150. Something like that. I can just use that as a placeholder for now. Maybe the nations on the title card should be the U.S. and the Soviet Union. I mean, those are the obvious choices, but I feel like, you know, we're the Polandball channel, so it should be Poland, right? Because we have the running joke that Poland cannot enter space. And I think it'd be funny if I draw Poland here on one of those little rocket rides. What are they called? Storefront, like the storefront rides. Ride the spaceship. Coin-operated spaceship outside of a grocery store, supermarket. Put Poland on it. Alright, let's draw it. Poor Poland. Make some holes that look like the moon or some stars behind. Yeah, I'll do stars and moon and comet, something like that. You know, like the Titanic is found in space. That'd be pretty wild. Go back to the moon and the Titanic, the wreck of the Titanic is just like lying there. All right, let's draw a rocket somewhere over here. Yellow fin, maybe? Very, like, stereotypical 1950s sci-fi kind of rocket. This could be the fins. See the body of the rocket. Spy. You upload it? Let me take a look. Oh wow, this is really good. Yeah, let me pull it up. And marble sphere. Yeah, let me show the art real quick. Marble Sphere posted this. This is pretty cool. I like it. Very simple. Whoops. And then Spy drew this. I really like this. I love this art style. This is great. This is awesome. The only issue I have with it is that you can see the anti-aliasing, right? So there's like little white pixels between some of the various art elements. Like it's most obvious on this character right here. Was that Conrad or one of the French bros? So I would clean that up. You can see it on other parts, but this is really, really well done. I like the spacesuit. Thank you. This is really cool. Really good stuff. Community showcase. Community art. Fred Fish, yeah. And pull up your art as well. The East Unfolds. What is this? Give us a... I like the color palette. I like the shades of gray here. What are we looking at here? Fred. An alien could be in the spaceship after the rocket. That's not a bad idea. Prussian media. Oh, you updated yours. Yeah. We'll also do this. Is there a Polandball art contest going on right now? This is Prussian Media's cafe. This is really good. Bunch of chatters in here. I like it. Bob Mad, you made your first comic? Right on. Did you post it? Good community art. Really like it. I absolutely adore this comic style, this art style. This is great. Really good job. It's very cartoony. Super cool. I think the fins need to be a little bit farther apart. Make this a chunky rocket, you know? Thick. Something kind of like that, right? And then it needs to be... That's making it too phallic. We'll have like the windshield or whatever here, you know? Fit Poland inside of it. Alright, let's try the windshield. If there's one thing you need in space, it's a windshield for your convertible rocket. Body. I guess it should sort of come down like this. And then we can fit Poland in over there. What's my favorite rocket? Oh, Saturn V. Easy. That should be everybody's favorite rocket. It's the greatest rocket ever made. It's the one that put people on the moon. Nothing comes close. Although the Space Launch System is technically the most powerful rocket to have ever launched successfully. Starship, once it actually works, which is a big if, or rather, if Starship ever works, which is a big if, that will be the most powerful rocket ever made. Yadar, hello. I saw you made a couple new comics. You saw the Saturn V at the Kennedy Space Center. I've never been to the Kennedy Space Center. I would like to go. For the next, the Artemis 3 mission is the next planned U.S. mission to land on the moon. Artemis 2 will launch a couple years before that. Which will just do a flyby of the moon. But I want to go and I want to see the launch for Artemis 3, which will be ostensibly the return to the moon for the U.S. And supposedly, on that mission, it'll have the first Japanese astronaut to land on the moon. So that's one of the things that The Japanese Prime Minister Kishida, I think is his name. He visited Joe Biden in Washington, and one of the things that they agreed on was that for the Artemis 3 mission, a Japanese astronaut would be the first non-American to land on the moon, assuming that the U.S. beats China to the moon, which might not be the case. We'll see if that happens, but Starship is a boondoggle. The system that they have set up to like go back to the moon using Starship and Space Launch System it's really stupid. Like, it's unnecessarily complicated and more expensive than it has to be. They should have just basically done what we did with Apollo, but Jacob, you saw a rocket take off? I've never seen a rocket launch. It's on my bucket list of things that I need to see before I die. All right, let's draw Poland, just so we got like a good idea. We'll do the storyboarding here, right? So let's draw Poland as, we'll make him green. I want to give him a, I mean, I guess he should be in a spacesuit, right? Because he's pretending to go into space. But I kind of like the idea of putting like flight goggles on him instead, because that's all he can afford. What's cooler, the US or the EU? They're not really comparable, to be honest. Hope Starship works. However, the crazy inverted dive bomb maneuver it has to do to land is a bit ambitious. Yeah. Plus all the refueling. You need they need to refuel in Earth orbit something like 10 times in order to provide enough fuel to Orion and the space launch system or whatever to actually go and land on the moon and come back, which is incredibly stupid. Put a price tag on his spacesuit. Let's do the eyes. I feel so bad for Poland. All right, let's do lines behind Poland. Poor Poland. What is my spacesuit? Let me get my spacesuit. I'll use that as colors for it. We all know he's daydreaming the scene. True. Make Poland steal Coke and Mentos. Here we go. An old self-portrait, but it'll do. See the Earth in the back. Planet ball. All right. The suit will be suit. Oh man, I love Poland's characterization in Polandball. Thoughts on metal music? I don't really like metal. The one like genre of music that I will absolutely never like, and it doesn't matter. Nothing else about the song matters. Any kind of screaming in music is an automatic no for me. I absolutely hate screamo. It's absolute trash. And unfortunately, it seems to be pretty common in metal, so I'm not really into it. I'm not really big on country either, but like old country is better, you know, like Johnny Cash, John Denver. Like modern country music is it's just pop music, you know. It's what is it called? Hick hop is what it's derogatorily referred to. Hick hop. Lana, check out your banner. Yeah, let me take a look. Couscous food, best food. Oh, I like this. This is cute. Or I'll pull this up on stream. I like how you drew the cat. Lana drew this. Yeah, you guys are good artists. This is really well done. I love my truck. I love my beer. Bro country. Yeah, it's I don't know. Modern country is just not. It's just pop music, you know. Yeah, this is really good. I love this. Hick hop. All right, let's duplicate this, and then I'm going to fill it in with. Oh no. There we go. 25, and then we'll do some light behind it. I've got a lot of layers already just for such a simple drawing. Here, oops. Should be. Oh no, I wanted to do. Shit, I have to do this. Forgot to fill them in. For 25. Let's do 45. I like that. Okay, that looks good. Shit. Nope, don't merge all that. Merge these 3 layers. That looks good. Oops. You feel it's ignorant to call an entire genre of music bad? No, I disagree. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Literally all art is subjective. There is no such thing as objectivity in art because it's a creative sort of an entirely creative field. If someone doesn't like something for any reason, like any kind of art for any reason, they're totally entitled to that opinion. You know? Like, someone could be able to draw photorealistic art, and that's very technically impressive to be able to basically take like a photo and reproduce it using paint and lead or whatever, right? Doesn't mean I have to like it. You know, I can understand that a lot of effort goes into it and a lot of talent and work. And there's a level of craftsmanship there. I don't have to think it's good, though. In the same way that people have preferences for, you know, the kind of music that they like, the inverse is, you know, not liking certain genres of music, you know? So, I don't like screaming in music. It's the exact same thing as me saying, like, I like synthesizers in music. Did you ever play Fallout New Vegas? It's the best Fallout you've ever played. No, I've never actually played the Fallout games. I did watch the show over the weekend, and it was I enjoyed it, but I mean, honestly, I don't particularly care for the universe, the Fallout universe. I think it's too, there's too much stuff in it, if that makes sense, you know? Like, if it was a little bit more hard sci-fi, I think I would have liked it if it focused more on, like, you know, the breakdown of human civilization in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. That would be cool. But I don't like all the, like, monsters and stuff. You know, like cockroaches 10 times the size of a normal cockroach because of radiation. You know, stuff like that. I don't like it. And, like, people living for 200 years or whatever. If everything about art is subjective, does that mean everything about art is subjective is subjective? No. That's an objective statement about art. That it's all subjective. Interestingly. I mean, I've listened to a few metal songs that I've liked, but it's not a genre I particularly care for. You know, it's just like, I would never go out and search for metal music. Whoops. I want to crop. Okay, Poland. Let's merge that. Let's get this lighter gray. Oh, poor Poland. I feel so bad whenever, like, I draw Poland and, like, he's failing at his dream. It's funny, too, because, like, Poland is part of the European Space Agency, so Poland in real life can into space. Let's do, like, a little backpack. The breakdown of society due to apocalypse has been done so many times. Fallout is unique as society is technically still around. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. There's a lot of... it has a lot of fantasy tropes, right? So it's like it's a blend of fantasy and science fiction, which is interesting. But it wasn't personally for me, you know? Bob Mad, you posted your Comic-Con art salon on Discord. Let me take a look. Jacob, ping me in Discord. You don't have any art. You just want to say you love the stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. I don't know if you posted it anywhere, Bob Mad. All right. Thanks for joining. Come back later if I'm still streaming. You played a game with your mother to guess 80 songs, and I suspected you got your ass kicked? Well, if she was there, you know, in the 80s, then that would make sense. Alright, let's do this backpack. This is like a jet pack. Or an oxygen pack or whatever. Oh, whoops, I did it on the wrong layer. Oh, poor Poland. It's like a... Poland is like a dog, you know? Like, you feel bad when you see it hurt. This, and maybe a little bit gray into here. Opinion on hockey? Neutral. I don't watch hockey. I've got nothing against it, you know. I don't know enough about hockey to have like a strong opinion on it. Have I ever been an r/conservative? You've never seen such a lack of intelligence in your life. You think conservatives have good ideas, but it is not a good example. Yeah. I think you guys know this, but I'm pretty far left. And the problem that I have with conservatism in general as an ideology and right-wing ideologies is that they're beholden tradition. They are beholden to tradition for its own sake. And doing something for its own sake is generally not a good justification for doing that, right? It's not real. It's not a substantive justification. It's circular logic, right? So like, oh, we should do this because we've always done it this way, right? Like, that's not a reason to keep doing it that way, right? Like, try something different, right? But yeah, r/conservative is it's a terrible subreddit. The moderators are basically fascists, and you know, like you say anything that is sort of like critical of Trump or you know, the Republican Party in general, and they will delete your posts. It's an echo chamber. It's a very, very strictly enforced echo chamber. All right, maybe we have to make this rocket a little bit longer so that Poland can fit in it a little bit more easily. Actually, that's okay. I think the fins have to be at a different angle, though. Let's take this. Let's redraw the fins. Pizza Tower has the best synthwave, video game synthwave. Yeah, appeal to tradition. Yeah, conservative ideologies are about maintaining tradition and enforcing social hierarchies, and I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Some tradition is valuable and deserves to be preserved to maintain society, while other traditions don't really need to be preserved. Also, Reddit is kind of a leftist echo chamber. Reddit is a very neoliberal place. It's not leftist. Leftist would mean anti-capitalist, like socialist or communist. And while there are like communist and socialist communities on Reddit, most of Reddit is just liberal, like American liberal, sort of center-left, or left of center in the American context. It's still very much capitalist, you know? But yeah, the idea that all tradition is bad is not what I was suggesting. But when your argument for doing something is that's the way we've always done it, that's not a substantive argument for doing something, right? That's my problem, is that it's circular reasoning. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, God is real because the Bible says God is real and God created the Bible. Like, that's circular logic. It doesn't make any sense, right? There was a saying that went, progressives are great for creating legislation, conservatives are great for running legislation. The problem is that modern conservatives can't run anything. Yeah, I mean, it's not like this in every country because not every country's conservative party is the same. But in the United States, the Republican Party has increasingly just become anti-democratic with a capital D, as in like they exist primarily to act as a foil to the Democratic Party. They don't actually stand for anything. They stand in opposition to anything Democrats want, right? Not all Republicans are like that, but the party in general, for most of my life, has been like that. All right, let me see what the angle for this was again. So the rocket is sort of at like a, I don't know, like a 35-degree angle toward the camera. Something like that. I don't know. Georgius, the stream about space inspired you to draw this. This is awesome. I'm going to show this on stream. Georgius drew this. Did you just draw this? Like, just now? Like, in the past 20 minutes? This is great. Overcome your fears. You consider yourself a social libertarian. Welfare is needed to maintain the non-aggression principle. To prevent people from going desperate. Measures / violence with the welfare system must be streamlined. Also, weed legal. That's not really libertarian, though. You're calling for, like, you're supporting social intervention. Yeah, this is really good. I'm gonna get another glass of orange juice real quick. Oh, there's like none left. Libertarians end up shooting themselves in the foot all the time because they end up giving power to corporations that they can't control. Social Democrat for you all the way. I was a social democrat for much of my young adulthood. I'm more left-wing than that now. But I don't really have too much of an issue with social democrats. You're not into politics? You should be, because politics is into you whether you like it or not. Youngblood, you're also a social democrat. You do not think social democracy works in all locations, but you think that when it's in a good location, it's the best system in the world. Yeah, I mean, like, I would agree that of all the current, like, systems of government that exist on Earth now, social democracy is easily the best. The problem is that it's still built on exploitation. So something like Norway, for example, or Sweden, they are the poster boys for social democracy, but they're still capitalist countries, right? Because social democracy is still a capitalist ideology, right? It's a liberal democracy, or it's a subset of small L liberalism, right? Meaning that capitalism is what underpins its economic ideology, right? And capitalism is built on hierarchy, It's built on exploitation. It's built on extracting as much labor as you can from the laborer to generate profit, and then you keep that profit because you're the capitalist, you're on top, you have the power, right? I don't know how to make this fin work. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm generally cool with social democracy. Do you have any tips or ideas on how to properly write in MS Paint? Do you resort to manually drawing it with a small brush? Yeah, use a small brush, zoom in like as far as you can, and just write as you normally would. A lot of it is just practice using a mouse to write, which, you know, admittedly is hard, but just practice, I would say. I think that this top fin I need to fix. I don't know. Is there a way I can... -25. That's not what I want. I need it to like come towards me more. Like the right side of the fins need to move toward the camera. God damn it. This is hard. Perspective has always been a difficult thing for me to make look normal, or I don't know. I'm not good at drawing things in the correct perspective. It's funny when people talk about social democracy in the U.S. and national healthcare. You need to completely rebuild the nation for it to work and change the culture and potentially the size. So when people talk about how social democracy works in Norway or Sweden because of the size of the country, because they're much smaller, that's not... There's no reason why social democracy can't be scaled up. Germany is pretty close to being a social democratic state, and it's about 82 million people. It's often used as a way for racists to basically say that social democracy only works when it's a country full of white people. It's sort of a dog whistle for them. The idea that you need cultural homogeneity for social democracy to work, it's not true. The best argument you can make for social democracy only works for a small nation is you use Norway as an example. Norway is a petrostate. Right? Norway's wealth comes primarily from the fact that it has a ton of oil and natural gas, right? And it sells that oil and natural gas to much bigger markets than itself, right? The problem with using that argument is that, yes, Norway's economic sort of success is primarily due to petroleum products. That doesn't explain Denmark. It doesn't explain Sweden or Finland or Iceland. Right? None of those have nearly as much oil, if any, or natural resources that Norway has. And yet they're rich. They're not nearly as rich as Norway, but they're still very rich countries, and they're all social democracies. So, like, the argument of scale doesn't quite work. Remember that, like, when a lot of times, like, when you're talking about political ideologies with people, like you need to remember that people generally, well, everybody has some kind of bias, right? But if you're going to be talking to someone who is an avowed capitalist about, you know, why large-scale social welfare programs or socialism doesn't work, they have a vested interest and making sure that you come away thinking that it won't work, right? Like, you're hearing it from their perspective. They're not interested in making it work, right? It's like that for every ideology. Northern Willow is trying to destroy the Petite Empire and RP. You need advice? Counter invasion. A corporation should be split into the individuals that produce the products, manufacturing processes. That's effectively a cooperative. The idea that the workers own the corporation rather than the corporation being owned by shareholders or by being privately owned. No Name, you're planning to do a type of series called The Battle for Carondelet Palace. Any ideas? I don't know what that is. What is the battle for? Is that a real thing, or is that something that you made up? Here, let's... Okay. The Finns I might have to come back to and do separately at another time because it's really pissing me off. I don't know how to do it properly. Okay, windshield. Let's do like a darker blue outline. And then duplicate it, fill it in. Actually, you know what? Let's just make the entire thing. Well, no, it needs a frame, doesn't it? Prussian Mediator, finishing your approval comic. Is Hong Kong overused? No, use Hong Kong. Hong Kong is underused. Absolutely use Hong Kong. Okay, maybe we'll do let's do like a dark gray. Actually, hold on. Let me stroke the windshield. Okay, I like that. %. Thoughts on Georgism? God, I don't remember what that is off the top of my head. I remember reading about it. It's an economic ideology holding that people should own the value that they produce themselves, while the economic rent derived from the land, including from all natural resources, the commons, and urban locations should belong equally to all members of society. Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable to me. The idea that, like, what you physically produce, you own, and then the things that are sort of collectively extracted, for example, like oil being sort of collectively owned, like the profits or whatever, or the value of that being collectively owned. Yeah, I think that's fair. What's the most underused ball? Tajikistan, Ecuador. You think Australia and New Zealand are way too underused? Australia and New Zealand are underused if you consider the fact that they're English-speaking countries. But you see Australia and New Zealand in more Polandball comics than you do Ecuador or Tajikistan. Winston Churchill was a Georgist. That's hard to believe because he was also an imperialist. The government needs to... Oh, hold on, let's see. Youngblood, you agree with Frog, you agree, but you think government needs to have more control in many cases. U.S. has a population that has gone too many extremes because of a lack of control. The government needs to make gaining money easy, but have a limit. Eventually, that's hard to pass. Yeah, so like one of my sort of unpopular beliefs is that there should be a hard limit on how much wealth you can amass. Elon Musk doesn't need $200 billion. At a certain point, billionaires are sitting, they're literally sitting on money that's not doing anything, right? It's just because it becomes a dick measuring contest for them, like who has the bigger number, when that money would be put to better use by reinvesting it into something else, right? I mean, a lot of these sort of financial instruments that exist that billionaires have their money in, whether it's like shares of a company like Tesla, they're basically, it's, what's the right word? It's not real, you know? It's, the money could be put to better use if it wasn't parked in something that was entirely speculative, you know? What exactly would you consider yourself ideologically? Somewhere in between a socialist and a social democrat. So maybe like a market socialist, the idea that like I think people should own their labor. But I do think that competitive market forces are a good thing in certain circumstances, like in driving costs down in some cases, and spurring innovation. But certainly not to the extent that we have it currently implemented. Northern Will, you posted art in the Discord and pinged me? Let me see. Oh boy, this is some cancer. Yeah, let's pull it up. Alright, Northern Willow drew this. Howdy, partner. We got circle tool. We got pupils. Photo of a hat. I like Poland here. Like, the eyes on Poland are actually pretty good. Keeping the cancer at bay. The power of Christ compels you. Market socialism is based. At least you're not a communist. Communism is naive, can only work on an isolated island or something. Yeah, I mean, I think communism is a utopian ideology. I don't think it would work in practice. And the few states that have been constitutionally communist, like the Soviet Union, did have capitalist elements. And you can also make the argument that the vanguard party, you know, the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, was what actually owned the means of production, and it wasn't collectively owned. You know, like if you nationalize an industry, but you don't have any sort of power to elect your government, then do you really own what was nationalized, right? Like the Soviet Union was a totalitarian one-party state. They didn't have elections, at least not until, you know, the last few years before it collapsed. So you can definitely make a strong argument that collectivized industry in the Soviet Union was not collectively owned. It was just owned by the state. So yeah, I mean, like I've read a ton of political ideology in my life. Communism is a very, very utopian, idealistic ideology. Jacob, you're a Republican, but you hate Trump. Respect all opinions except if you live in Ohio. I've never been to Ohio. I've like been to the airport in Cleveland. All right, let's try the fins. Let's make this a darker red. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I like that. I like the windshield. I think this is turning out really well. Using for space. Marxist-Leninism is not Marxism. True. You know what's what in U.S. politics? I mean, what do you mean? Maybe I do use these fins. I think so. It just needs to. I think this needs to be at a steeper angle. Whoops. That's a little bit better. Put it under the body. Oh, you know what? No, this needs to be more, maybe a little bit more this way. Yeah, political philosophy was like, that was my bread and butter in college. I took a couple classes on political ideology or political philosophy. Probably the most foundational political philosophical text ever written is The Republic by Plato. It's very unintuitive though. It's a college level course. The Republic is hard to understand just because it's so old. It's like 2,800 years old, something like that, 2,400 years old. But it informs a lot about like why things are the way they are today in liberal democracies because it's the foundation of Republican government. In the Republic, Plato basically comes to the conclusion that the best form of government is that of the philosopher king. And again, this is also a very utopian ideal. The idea of a philosopher king is that it's basically a benevolent dictator. It's a dictator who has the best interests of his people at heart and always acts in their interest. But because he's a dictator, he can just, do everything by, the wave of his hand. So there's no extra bureaucracy. You don't have to go through a legislature or anything like that, right? Like, it's just diktats. The problem is you're never going to find one person that everyone agrees would be a good dictator, right? So it's utopian. That's almost right, I think. Okay, I like that. You know what? This fin is no good. Something like that. Give me a lifetime of life supply of pistachios. You'll solve your problems without corrupting yourself. Is that all it takes? I'd vote for you. Yadar for Earth Dictator, Earth Emperor, God Emperor of mankind. Frog, you hate how stupid U.S. politics has become. Both sides are so entrenched due to companies seeking lies on both sides. Now it's impossible to discuss the pros and cons of trans surgery without nonsense. Well, if we're going to get on a topic of trans people, then, I don't know, I guess we can. The problem I have with the politics around transgenderism is that politicians are not doctors, they're not scientists. I don't want someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene telling me what body dysmorphia is, you know, or anyone for that matter. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, right? The concept of, you know, like biological sex and gender are separate concepts. They're related, but they're not the same thing, right? This is a good moment for me to educate you guys. If you're not familiar with this, gender and sex are two different, again, but related topics. Gender is often called like a social construct because in many ways it is. Sex is more biological, right? Determined by your chromosomes, right? Now that being said, sex is not is not binary, right? It's not there are only men and only women, right? Sex is bimodal, right? It means that there are two peaks. One is we refer to as largely male, and the other peak we refer to as largely female. But there are people who fall in between, right? For example, intersex people exist, right? There are people who are born with sex organs that we would consider both male or female, right? Like there are people who are born with a penis and a vagina. That is something that happens, right? So you cannot say that sex is binary when it is physically, objectively not true, right? Like people are born with various kinds of different sex characteristics, right? Furthermore, the problem I also have with like people who say that like transgenderism isn't real, like the idea that you could feel like you're a woman but you're trapped in a man's body, for some people that's absurd, but like why is that any more absurd than like any of the other kinds of like strange ways that the human brain manifests itself, right? The brain manifests itself in 8 billion different ways, right? It's not any more absurd for someone to feel that way than having like a learning disability or having a photographic memory, right? Like it's a biological thing. It's like the brain is wired in a certain way, right? Why are we talking about sex and gender? Someone brought it up, and it's an opportunity to educate you guys. All right, let's do some shading on the rocket. We'll do some lighting, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's important to know because it's one of those social issues that sort of dominates at least American politics, a little bit less like Western European politics right now. What are the chances of having both reproductive parts? It's low, but it's not zero. I think that's too much shading. Let's do Try 100 again. Let's erase this. So things like gender identity might not be important to you, but they are important to other people, right? And the idea that like if you don't want to think about or talk about issues that don't affect you, then then conservatism is your thing, But people come from all different kinds of backgrounds, many different walks of life. People have different issues, and ignoring issues that don't affect you means that people are going to ignore the issues that affect you. It's solidarity is important, right? Like if you want people to help you with your issues, you need to help other people with their issues. What do you consider the main difference between aromantic and asexual people? I don't know. Granted, I don't know enough about like I'm not super into gender politics. Like I'm very pro-trans, like I think they should be allowed to live without fear. But gender politics is not like the biggest thing that matters to me. Like I care more about foreign policy and space, economic policy. All right, now let's do some shading. So this was lighting. %. Yeah, that's all right, I think. Actually, no. Oh, I never crossed my mind that I could do shading and lighting on the same layer and just use white and black, and then when I change the opacity, it changes the opacity for both of them. Okay. I should have known that. Learned a new trick in Photoshop. Congrats on getting third in the r/Polandball contest. You got fifth. Thank you. And congrats to you, too. I think I got third 2 months in a row. I got the rocket here. It's a good contest. Not the best rocket. I'm going to change this rocket. I don't like how I did this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do this off stream. I don't know how to... I mean, it's salvageable, but like the perspective is not great and the shading is not good. It looks like a shitty rocket. I mean, compared to like Poland looks good here, but maybe I can put him like someone could be filming him, and he could have like a backdrop of he could be in like a studio and he's like filming himself in space. Jacob, on Drew's video, you commented that I made the comic and to watch our channel to see the original content. Oh, thank you. What do you think about France's constant riots? I think France has a stronger... what's the word? Civil society? Is that the right word? Yeah, I think of basically all the, maybe in like the entire like Western world of all liberal democracies, I think France probably has the strongest civil society, in the sense that they're very protective of the freedoms and the benefits that they've won over time, and that, you know, protesting and rioting in protection of them against a state that continually makes life worse is probably generally a good thing. Sinister Sri Lankan Productions. Hey, how to art to Polandball subreddit? What do you mean? Let's see. Yeah, I need to figure out here. You know what? I'm going to do attempt 2 at this. Let's try another windshield. Rocket. Man, I don't know how to do this. Hold on, I gotta get a coffee now. Got a nice coffee. Do you believe you're going to give Poland a higher voice in a future video? Whenever I voice Poland for PNN, I already crank up the pitch. It's like when your teacher leaves the classroom. If the teacher doesn't come back in 15 minutes, we're legally allowed to leave. Here, let me see if I can pull up the... I can play the Poland video. Or not a Poland video. I forget what Poland sounds like. Oh, you guys should be able to hear this, right? This is the second to most recent Polandball news video. For the weather.
Dzień dobry. Polska here to shine light inside anus for weather. Middelfart, Denmark. We have slight, very chills throughout the week. Mostly clouds is Monday. Tuesdays is part of cloudings. Wednesdays, sun is mostly behind cloud against once more. Thursday is all cloud. Denmark. Denmark, listen to me. Do not the despairs. Do not do the kill yourself. Friday is water, but it gets in everywhere before after the noons, but not after the noons. Saturday is most or more cloud. Sunday clouds is parts of sky. Okay, it's finished. Go away now, but politings?
I feel like that could be higher, the voice. Could Poland just be floating in space? Actually, I have an idea. I think I'm just gonna put like put him in a cardboard box. Here, I have a comic that you guys might have seen in the past. It was pretty popular. God, what was it called? Like Air Defense or something? Where I have Germany in a cardboard box. Scramble the jets. That's not it. God, where is it? Here it is, the Red Baron. This is from like 10 years ago. France, Germany, and Poland. Russia send fighters for rape air border. We must be haste if to be interception. France and Poland and their jets. And I think this is one of my favorite comics that I've drawn. And of course, when I drew it, people pointed out that, hey, France doesn't use F-15s and Poland is in an F-16 XL. I was like, yeah, I know, but those were cooler to draw. So I think I'll just put Poland in a box and I'll put like rocket ship or something on the side. Your comic, the Petite Principality, was inspired by this comic? Let me look it up. Oh my god, this is awesome. I've never seen this. Yotter, can I show this on stream? This is amazing. I never read this comic before. Snoopy reference? It was kind of a Snoopy reference, but it was also, well, I mean, yeah, it's a Snoopy reference because Snoopy, he'd be on his, the doghouse or whatever with his goggles, pretending to be the Red Baron. But also, I just like the idea of Germany being in a cardboard box, pretending it was a plane. Because this was 10 years ago, Germany wasn't spending like anything on their military. That's changed now, a little bit. Okay, let's read Yotter's comic. I've never read this before. This is the Petite Principality. So, like, the Petite Prince, right? The Little Prince, which I'm sure many of you have read. Yotter is one of the best artists. Oh, easily. When je was a young republique, je was very talented. For instance, this was mon first work d'art. But of course, the idiotic brutes thought it was an UFO or a waffle maker. One day, je was flying to l'Afrique for a visit à mon son Algérie in the Sahara Desert when mon plane crashed. This is a really well done plane. She was stranded in the middle of the Sahara, but then I saw the most fantastic thing. Draw me a McLaren. I love this panel. Poland just in the desert. He was a petite little principality wearing... Oh, it's Monaco. Okay. Principality. He was a petite little principality wearing a scarf that was fabric of gold. As he wanted moi to draw him something, alors, I drew him my most famous work d'art. No, je don't want a burger eating a baguette. Burgers be huge and dangerous. A très stupide et mon clay is many tiny. He would not be fit to race on mon streets. Draw me a McLaren. Je was surprised he knew what mon drawing was about. And à présent, je realized he wanted the diagrams of a sports car. Fortunately, je be très célébré in the monde for mon automotive design and industry. I like how his eyes are different sizes in every panel. No, that Renault is Trey the very shitty. Draw me a McLaren. She was decided to pas to look stupid, and je knew je could do better, so je did another design. Oh, getting close. See for yourself. This is no McLaren, this is Mercedes. Don't you see it has big funny oval engine and take on top? Draw me a McLaren. This is great. The shading on these panels is fantastic. Très bien. No, this is a Ferrari. A is ancien. C is of 2004. Je want one that can run on the most current FIA regulations. Draw me a McLaren. This is really good, though. Ah, McLaren! She don't know how to design a damn McLaren. Je surrender. Sigh. Here, this is a shipping box. This is a McLaren you requested, say inside. Say is new? Oui. Is Honda engine 6 cylinders? Oui. 24 valves? Oui. 15,000 RPM? Oui. Be turbocharged? Coupled electrical MG UK? Oui. 8 forward gear ratios? A 1B reverse? Oui. Carbon discs and pads for brakes? Oui. Très good. This is exactly what Joe wanted. This McLaren will run happy dans mon Grand Prix. When je asked the Petite Principality where he was live, he described a tiny tax haven filled avec palaces, casinos, monies, luxuries, a Grand Prix racetrack. This is gorgeous. The poor Principality was so deranged from realite because of the living in his rich fantasy, he decided to climb the tallest mountain he saw, where he wanted to see the world. Whoa, this world say so big! But there say also nothing. Where is all the monies, casinos, fashion stores? This is l'Afrique. Here say nothing but many poverty, war, disease, deserts, and jungles. There is no prosperité or monies in here. Je suis sorry pour your misery, mon African friend. Je look at you as you can tell you live on a very shitty world. Okay, thanks for the McLaren. And just like that, he left, leaving Wabi stranded in the middle of the Sahara. The brave story of Mon's survival, and how Je was adopted by a family of Phoenix, say a tale for other day. But for months, Je wonders the fate of that Petite Principality and his life of fantasy. Some time later, Je returned to the site where Je found him, but he was nowhere to be seen. Je suppose he died in the endless Sahara Desert, or maybe he ceased to exist for lack of heir to this throne. Either way, she will always remember that petite little Principality. Fin. Vroom vroom. I can't believe I've never seen this comic before. This is incredible. This is genuinely like one of the best comics I've ever read in Polandball. I can't believe I'd never seen it. The Petite Principality by Yoder, 8 years ago. Posted March 30th, 2016. Absolutely incredible. Formula One and the Le Petit Prince. Absolutely incredible. Monaco's the best city-state, even if they're a piece of shit tax haven. That's all city-states. Yeah, everybody give a big hand to Yoder for making that comic. That was gorgeous. You don't see Monaco in comics that much? Au contraire! Monaco is in most most comics. Monaco Ball. So I'll just do, we'll put Poland in a cardboard box. It's a very roundabout way of getting to this. Let's see, I'll just trace this. Something like that. Okay, let's do box. Do it in, we can do it in red. You hate Napoleon? He wanted to invade the British? If there was ever a country that deserved to be invaded, it's England. Remember, if it wasn't for the Nazis, the British Empire would be history's worst villain. Manny, welcome. How you doing, man? E. It shouldn't go too far out, the box. I mean, cardboard boxes were a pretty OP toy, to be honest. Did you guys ever play in like a giant cardboard box? Pretend it was like a tank or something? Cardboard boxes are pretty sweet. I totally understand what cats see in them. If you were in charge of r/country humans, what would you change? Is there a country human subreddit? Oh my god, there is. Oh my god, it has 19,000 readers? Huh? You're hanging in there, how am I? I'm doing well. If the box doesn't have a plunger in it, it's not pulling. I'll just say rocket on the side. A Polish space program. It's just a cardboard box and some glue. I'm gonna duplicate Poland. Save it. Merge it with the box. Behind the box. Okay. Let's do a dark brown for the outline, I guess. Paul made this rocket ship in a cave with a box of scraps. Derp derp, you run r/country humans? Really? I had no idea country humans was a thing on Reddit. Oh wow, you are, okay. Yeah, I see you now. Do you post in Polandball? Whoops. should be sort of shaded, right? It's the flap is blocking the sun, right? Sunlight. So this can be a little bit like that. Okay, that's pretty good. Man, I'm blown away by your comic, Yotter. That was great. I remember reading Le Petit Prince in French class in high school. And I also remember reading the English version when I was a kid. Great book. You asked to be banned from r/Polandball for being lectured, so you were super guilty? Add 3 rocket boosters at the cardboard on the cardboard box. Jacob, thanks for joining. You think the concept of Country Humans is pretty good? The problem is just with parts of the community. I didn't know that it had like a tight-knit community, does it? Poland is Iron Man. Okay, let's draw Rocket in like red paint. Rocket ski? I don't know. Would that make sense? It'd be more like Russian, right? What's the word for rocket in Polish? Google Translate. Rakieta.
Rakieta. Rakieta.
Let's do 2 pixels. Rocket. Okay, I like that. And then I have to make it look like paint. How do I make it look like paint? So it has to be dripping, right? See what that looks like. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, I like that. Yeah, that looks like it was drawn, or it was painted on, right? Maybe a little bit more up here. Learning drawing techniques in real time on stream. Rocket. Not in the subreddit. In the subreddit, there are strict rules to prohibit cringe. Interesting. Yotter, thanks for joining. Thanks again for letting me show stream. Or show your comic. Answer your question. Sorry, what did you ask? If I was in charge of r/Country Humans, what would I change? I don't know Country Humans well enough to change anything. Like, I like Polandball, so I would make it more like Polandball by removing the human. All right, what else can I add here to make it look the Polish Space Agency to look sort of funny. Oh, I could put here. Let's do I think the background should be, I don't know. Let's do like a dark blue. And then we could put like the studio thing behind him. Someone could be filming him in space. What are the chat rules? In here, just don't say anything bigoted. Don't spam. That's about it. Happy to talk about whatever. Most of the time when I'm streaming, I'm just talking with chat, so I'll engage in basically any kind of topic. Okay, let's do let me see. Hold not into space. Whoops. And I think this in the background. Try like a pink background, light pink. Maybe it's too bright. I don't know. What was I gonna do? This is missing something. What was this missing? Here. Oh, I need to clean this up. Like over here. I'm gonna have to fix this. I don't like this. John Oliver's a 1010 late night host. I was just watching before I started streaming. I was watching his video from last night or whatever on YouTube about UFOs. Pete, can I review the art you made on Discord? Yeah. Let's pull it up. There's some like artifacting in here. Do you see this as a JPEG? Try and save as a .png or something, so you don't get like this weird like image artifacts. But this is good. I like the sunglasses. Super rad. Balls fan meetup. Yeah, this is solid. Good work. Okay, let's do the get rid of that rocket. Okay, this is Poland. And his rocket ship. How'd you feel about checking out your Doodle Canvas on stream? What is Doodle Canvas? Is that a program or something? So anyway, this is going to be for a space news segment. That'll probably be a recurring thing. Not in every Polandball news video, but we did sports in one video. We haven't done sports since, but this will be recurring whenever there's like interesting space news. So we have the eclipse that we'll talk about, and the Dragonfly mission that I want to talk about, which for most of us is probably going to be one of the coolest space missions to happen in our lifetime. So this is a helicopter that NASA is funding officially now. Like, it was announced a day or two ago that NASA is going to send an 800-pound helicopter to Titan, Saturn's largest moon. It's going to fly around on the surface. Awesome. All right, let's do the background behind Poland. It's 3 pixels. Gate Nerd, how's it going? On the Discord, sometimes he plays Gartic Phone, drawing game, or whiteboard, some kind of r/place, but not. You should join. Yeah, I'll look it up. If I ever free time. People underestimate space. Honestly, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, space is awesome. Okay, we'll put, let's do like the lunar surface. Merge that. Some boulders. Some streaks. It still blows my mind whenever I see pictures from the Mars rovers. Like, we have countless photos of the surface of another planet. Like, how cool is that? So I'll draw another character with like a camera filming Poland. What character should that be? I was thinking Estonia, but that doesn't really make sense. I think maybe like if Poland were to have a sidekick, who's the natural country to for that sidekick to be? Lithuania? Or Ukraine? Probably Lithuania, right? Are we discussing the news still? We didn't actually really get into the news yet. Maybe we should do that. Talk about the news. While I draw. Let's do buttons. Oh, so I actually had a comic idea for something that happened in the news today. I don't know if you saw this, but apparently some Hamas militants attacked the pier that the U.S. is building off the coast of Gaza to deliver humanitarian aid, which is pretty wild. But, you know, Hamas is a bunch of gangsters, right? Like, they don't want the U.S. to distribute aid because that part of the Hamas's grip on power is based on them being able to distribute aid to who they want. right? Like they hoard it, and their people suffer as a result. But I had a comic idea for that. Maybe I'll draw it. Maybe not tonight, though. These are the buttons. We'll do like some kind of backboard. Make it brown or something. Is there any news that you guys want to talk about? Any news stories? I'm a news junkie, so like I could talk about the news all day. Anything. Maybe Ukraine because of the history of the pole that went to space. Ukraine and Poland are buddies. Hungary too, but less so. Hungary and Poland have a day celebrating their friendship. Ukraine, Lithuania, Czechia, Hungary. I think Lithuania makes more sense. Yeah. Gate nerd. We can all agree we never went to the moon, right? I will fight you. Latvia? Have you heard about the Spanish president thinking about resigning? I have not. President? You mean prime minister, right? Because it's not a republic. Spain is a monarchy. Or constitutional monarchy. They have a king. Is it still Juan Carlos? Or no, it's Felipe. Felipe VI is the current king of Spain. His father was Juan Carlos. He was the one who... Did he die? Yeah, he died about 10 years ago. Okay, so I'm living 10 years in the past in Spain. I took a 10-year-long siesta. Sue me. Thinking something like this. Yeah, I think Lithuania with a camera makes the most sense. Filming Poland in his little cardboard rocket ship. You think country balls have families? UK being America's dad, if so, who's related to? So the funny thing is, like, when you think about countries as, like, when we personify countries, there are some obvious ones, right? Like, U.S. being the offspring or whatever of the U.K. Or Britain, more, yeah. And like Canada and the U.S. being brothers, but they're half brothers, right? Because if Canada's dad is the U.K., then the mom is France, right? But France isn't the U.S.'s mom. But then you get into like really weird kinds of like incestuous relationships. Like there are comics that depict the U.S. and Canada as lovers rather than brothers. You know, which might fly in Alabama, but maybe not in Ontario. Maybe Alberta. I don't know. Does Alberta have the like the incest stereotype that Alabama has? Because Alberta is like one of the most conservative and like rural and kind of like whatever parts of Canada. So it wouldn't surprise me. Who is UK's dad? England and Scotland. Yeah, England's the father, Scotland's the mother. And they hate each other. I've shown you, or I think I've shown you guys this. One of my most popular comics was Canada Had a Rough Childhood, which I'm going to remake at some point. It was very close to being it was the #2 comic in the subreddit for a couple of years, I think. Where is it? Here. Very, very early on in the subreddit's history. This was like my first big comic that made it. France and the UK love each other. Poof, Canada's born. But of course, France and Britain hate each other too. Whoops. So I want to remake this comic with like my modern art style. And then I might post it on Canada Day, which is I think July 1st. Prussian Media, you finish your comic, can I review it? Yes. Who is America's mom? Liberty. Just the concept of liberty, freedom. But yeah, like you can see, this is a very, very old style comic of mine because I didn't draw the stars. The balls are very rough. Alberta is not incestuous, but Newfoundland is? Okay. Chase, how's it going? Let's take a look at Prussian Media's comic. This looks pretty good. Let me pull it up. Sri Lanka is therefore one cousin removed from USA. So that's the problem, is that Britain is technically like the father of half the countries on the planet, right? So they conquered half the planet. This is Prussian Media's comic. So we have Hong Kong and Britain. Independent, independent, independent. I will orphan you. Britain leaves. What do you want to do? Work. It's normal. Taiwan. This is good. This is a small comic, though. This is a good comic. A CNN article said that the U.S. allegedly left Afghanistan after accidentally exploding the airport. One of their tear gas bombs got shot, leaving many Afghans to be slaughtered by the Taliban. Yeah, the U.S. pullout from Afghanistan was like a big thing internationally, obviously, but like it bled, or it sort of it fed into like people's it became a politicized thing in the U.S. If you guys don't remember, or if you're not American, that is sort of when Biden's poll numbers started to nosedive, and they've never really recovered his approval rating. It was around September of 2021 when the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan. And, you know, the images that people were seeing from Afghanistan were like people like trying to like grab onto C-5 Galaxies and like C-130s as they were leaving the airport in Kabul, right? And it was like, it was heartbreaking because they knew what was happening, right? Like the Taliban was taking over again. And, you know, the Taliban are a bunch of repressive dipshits, right? So these people were terrified. And there was a rocket strike or something that killed 8 American soldiers on like the second to last day of the U.S. troop presence in Afghanistan. And people were giving Biden a ton of grief for it, saying like, oh, the pullout was bungled, you know, like... And people in the media, this is one of the things I hate about corporate media. People, like talking heads in the media, were constantly talking about how, you know, now that the U.S. is gone, the Taliban are taking over, all of these women and children are going to lose all their rights. They're not going to be able to be educated anymore. It's like, yeah, no shit. But you, in the media, didn't cover this war for almost 20 years. You know? People ignored the war in Afghanistan for decades. They never reported on it, right? The second that we start to pull out and it becomes a media spectacle, then you have all these dipshits on TV and in newspapers talking and writing about how such a terrible thing that the U.S. is leaving. You know, like, we couldn't stay there indefinitely. It was a lost war. And pulling out of war was never going to look great anyway. And like, if you're upset about American troops dying in war, don't send them to goddamn war in the first place, right? It was so stupid. The entire media spectacle about the pullout from Afghanistan was so goddamn dumb, and it really opened my eyes as to how absolutely callous the media is. They don't give a shit about anything. All they are there to do is make money, right? And they make money by selling you spectacles. No one paid attention to Afghanistan. They never covered it. No one gave a shit about Afghanistan for the 20 years we were there. Would that count as sensationalism? They were covering something that was happening and that was important globally, but they were only doing it because they knew that it was a spectacle. So kind of. It's super stupid. Okay, now we draw Lithuania with a camera. Negativity is profitable? Yeah. So this is another thing. I've talked to you guys about this before, but social media feeds off of negativity. Negative emotions keep people engaged longer than positive emotions, right? So when people talk about how like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are like filled with garbage and people just yelling at each other and like racism and hatred of any kind, right? It's because that keeps people on the website longer, which means that they're seeing ads more often, which means the website is making more money. The advertisers are seeing a return on their investment, right? You don't get, like, if the news or if like Facebook and Instagram only use algorithms that showed you like pictures of golden retriever puppies playing like in the sand or something, or in the grass, you would only be online for like 30 seconds and then you would go back about the rest of your day. So yeah, negativity sells, absolutely. Let me get the Lithuanian flag. I don't like the Lithuanian flag. I think it's ugly. These colors don't work together. I said it. Okay. Lithuania. Oh, this is the flag. Ball. Lithuania should be a little bit smaller than Poland. Look at how good of a friend Lithuania is, helping Poland pretend he's in space. That's a real bro. Oh, some news from last night we could talk about, or I could mention anyway. We don't have to talk about it, but I'll talk about it. So the U.S. apparently secretly sent Ukraine ATACMS missiles, the long-range version of ATACMS missiles, as part of a $300 million package that was announced before this big foreign aid package was signed into law yesterday by President Biden. And Ukraine has been asking for those for years at this point, So now the entirety of Crimea is within range of Ukrainian munitions. So, the obvious target is the Kerch Strait Bridge. Zodic, you're going to break the Geneva Convention? You mean the Geneva Suggestions? Northern Willow posted a comic. Let's take a look. Northern Willow drew this. Poland, Mongolia. Frankia, why is he wearing beret? Don't you know? It's Mongolia. That's clever. Linguistic joke. This is a solid joke. I can't believe this hasn't been done before. This is a very good comic. Do you have submission rights on the subreddit, Willow? This would be, like, if you don't, so you should submit this as a for your submission rights entry. Like, this is a genuinely good comic. You don't understand how people can be angry all the time? How are they not exhausted? Yeah, that's a good point. I don't understand it either. I mean, for a lot of people, it's because they're constantly, like, reinforcing those negative emotions because, like, as part of their routine, like, they go and they check Facebook or they watch Fox News or something, right? It's just something that they do. And it's hard to break that cycle, right? The only way, like, to win is to not play, right? It's just stop watching. Stop going to those websites. But that's hard for people to do, you know? Like, I had a Facebook account when I was in high school until college, and then, like, a year or two after college, I got rid of it. And I haven't gone back since. It's been, like, a decade. A little over a decade at this point. And I remember, like, I was logging into Facebook, and I was never interacting with anyone. You know, I was never talking to anyone. You know, because I could just text my friends. Like, you have 500 Facebook friends. You talk to maybe, like, 3 of them in real life, you know? And all that I was seeing on Facebook was, like, stuff that made me angry, right? So I just deleted my Facebook. Like, there's no point in doing this, so... For a first comic to get reviewed by the mods, you just have to post? No, there's a, if you go to the subreddit, there's a tutorial on how to apply for submission rights. You have to, like, pass a test, too. Like, you have to essentially read the rules. And then the test is, like, a multiple choice test, like 8 questions or something. And that you have to, I think you have to score 100%, to show that you actually read the rules. And then you submit the actual comic. But you can ask the mods as well. I'm not a mod on the subreddit. I got grandfathered in. I never had to apply for submission rights because I was posting comics before we had the rules. I'm an old timer. Maybe we don't even show Lithuania's eyes. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd get rid of the eyes entirely. Man, I miss the early days of Polandball. It was really cool being part of a subreddit that was super small, and you knew, like, everyone in the subreddit, you know? I mean, not everyone, right? There were 3,000 readers, 2,500 readers when I first found the subreddit. But, like, the people who would comment frequently, the people who would post frequently, you would know who they are. You would remember their flair, where they were from. It's different now, and it has been for many years because it's a big subreddit. Aaron's in the chat. Say hello to Aaron, everybody. The text is less important. Good comic is the most important. The test is less important. A good comic is the most important. Yes. The thing that the mods want to see is they want to get the feeling that you can create consistently good content. So, like, your first comic can't just be, like, okay. It has to be pretty good, you know? Because people want to be sure that you can keep it up. And it's not just, like, you're going to post bad or mediocre crap. All right, we'll give Lithuania a camera. do it in blue. And remember, the thing that people like the most in a Polandball comic is humor. The art is not important. Like, obviously, you don't want it to look like you drew it in 4 seconds. But some of, like, the best comics ever made are low art. They're not, like, super detailed. They have a good joke. Like, people want humor. How else do I do this? There's like the reels at the top of the thing, right? I guess they're connected, aren't they? Or no, we'll do a, whoops, a larger reel in the front and then a smaller one in the back. And they're connected. How does Aaron get all his ideas so quick? Reading the news, history articles usually? Do I know about Coconuts 2b? It's a planet that's 6.3 times as large as Jupiter. Its orbit is 1/10 of a light year from its star. It takes 1.1 million years to complete one orbit. That's crazy. Coconuts 2b? It's a wild name for a planet, too. Yeah, Coconuts 2b. Orbits an M-type star, mass of 6.3 Jupiters. Takes over a million years to complete one orbit. It's orbiting 7,506 astronomical units away from it. That's crazy. It was directly imaged too. Wow. That's so cool. 6.3 times the mass of Jupiter. That's crazy. That's huge. Favorite Adult Swim show growing up? Did I watch Adult Swim? I did. What was on it? Adult Swim schedule. Let's look at 2007. Oh, I guess they did. They had Futurama. Yeah, I loved Futurama. What else? Robot Chicken. I loved Robot Chicken. Do the lens over here. Something like this. Behind the camera. This is the camera's anus. Okay, let's black outline, dark gray, dark gray. Do film camera. Yeah, we can do this. Same thing over here. And put black holes in them. Does that look like a camera? That kind of looks like a camera. Should I give it a tripod? Yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a tripod. Two pixels. I like that. Okay. You think spokes on the reel might look better? Let me zoom in. Maybe it shouldn't be white. Do like a light gray. And then do a darker gray, like dark gray spokes, like let's do darker than that. I think that looks better, yeah. Yeah, that looks better. Good call, gay nerd. Old-time cameras are fun to look at. I like how this came out. I think this is actually a better idea than having him in like the rocket outside the grocery store. Oh, poor Poland. This is the Polish-Lithuanian space program. Should have added Aaron to stream. Aaron, do you want to hop on stream, talk to the people? Do another time too if you don't want to do it tonight. Let's change this background. Try yellow. I mean, it really should be a black background, right? Because it's space. There's 4 box over here. get rid of this box. I like this orientation better. And then I think a red and blue like boxes behind the text. Here. Red, blue. Oh no, hold on. Blue, red. Erase that. Erase that. All the way over here. Whoa, too far. Maybe fake stars can be hanging from the text. I think I break up from and space. Zoom out. What does this look like? I'm gonna copy this. Put it over here. 45%. Try 15. I guess I should do some shading on the balls, huh? Let's merge these. And then I think I'm gonna crop. Okay, that, and then something like that. Why is there like this weird green thing? Erase this. Let's shade the balls. Maybe just Lithuania. Little bit of Poland, and then some of the backpack. I don't really want to shade the camera. Just shade the balls. Okay. I think this is pretty good. This is a good Poland. I'm going to save this. I actually really like this as like a profile picture. Actually, this entire thing is a good profile picture. I like that. Well, hold on. What does it look like if it's just black? No, that's no good. It's blue. Oh, like a green screen. Oh, I should have done that. Check yellow. That's not bad. All right, I'll save this. All right, now I just need to center this. With the background. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna make the background a little bit darker. If I do black. Was this better with black or gray? The background. Black or gray? Black or gray? I can't really tell. I think maybe black is better. Musings from space. Gray is better? Do you think so? I think black is better. Let's try something wild. No, it doesn't work. I'm gonna go with black. Executive decision. Save it in my PNN folder. Space news card. Do a poll? Oh, that's a good idea, actually. But I'll just say both. Space news card gray. Great contrast better. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end stream there for tonight. Wasn't super productive, but it was fun talking to you guys. I should probably stream tomorrow, and we can do some more interactive stuff, since I think you guys like that more. But thanks for joining. Drop a like on the stream if you haven't done so already, and keep your eyes peeled for the next PNN video, probably this weekend. So have a good night, guys.